Alright guys, I have just finished rewatching Red Eye after a few years. Um, the reason I chose to do this is because, Wes Craven, one of the best at directing, scary movies of all time. Everybody always, gives all the dap to the Nightmare on Elm Street films, the Scream films, and they was also pretty good. Um, and so the depth that they get, much deserved. Classic film franchises. Um, you know, everybody knows those, and that's what his legacy was built on. So everybody gives those movies and those franchises all the depth in the world. But I'm choosing to um, spotlight one of his more underrated films, in my personal opinion, and that's is the 2005 release of um, a film he directed called Red Eye. Um, Now, Red Eye stars Rachel McAdams as a the head of a hotel concierge in Miami. She had, I guess, the way it is explained in the story, had flew home to Texas because of the death of her grandmother, um, and was catching a red eye flight back to Miami, where she lives and where her dad lives and things like that. Um, and while she's waiting to get on the plane, she meets this guy. Um, seems nice guy, very unassuming, trying to pick her up, and basic, creepy dude in an airport. Turns out they're on the same flight, and they're actually sitting next to each other. She's in one seat, he's in the seat next to her. Well, she's afraid of flying, so you know he talks to her to keep her distracted during takeoffs and turbulences, and starts asking for um, you know asking her about her family and things like that. And she thinks he's just doing it to keep her distracted from the turbulence. Well, as it comes out, he is not on the flight by chance. It was actually set up that way because um, he is working for some dudes that want to um, take out a U.S. Senator, I believe it was, and his family that are staying at her hotel, and um, gets her to do all kinds of like just nefarious things uh, for him. Um, you know, to he says if she doesn't, there's a guy outside of her father's house that has a knife, a gun, and everything else is gonna kill him. So she sets it up so that this senator's family can get killed, and eventually, when they land in Miami, you know, she's not only trying to save herself and her dad, she's also trying to save the senator's family, and um, it's just a really good, fast-paced. I wouldn't really call it scary movie. It's more like a suspense thriller. Um, but I think it is one of Wes Craven's more underrated movies, though. Um, and I'm not going to give the entire thing away, but so I just live with that little synopsis there. Um, but um, definitely it's worth seeing if you haven't, and if you have and you haven't watched it in a while, it's worth pulling out and um, taking a watch of it again. Really well acted by Rachel McAdams, really again well directed by Wes Craven, but that seems to be his calling card. I haven't seen a Wes Craven film that wasn't well directed, so that's a calling card of his that I think will live on to. I just think this film is way more underrated than it should have been because of his um, Scream franchise and the Elm Street franchise. But um, with that said, on my 5 Wheelie scale, hmm, I'd give it a solid 4 Wheelies out of 5 and tell you definitely worth checking out if you haven't before. And if you have and you haven't seen it in a while, definitely worth digging up and just give it another watch. And so there you go, my review on Red Eye. Rest in peace to Wes Craven, and you know it's a big loss for cinema and life in general. Um, but your legacy lives on in the movies that you left us with and the creativity. So um, you know, as far as anything else, this is like I said, one of the more underrated, and it really shouldn't have been. But yeah, um, solid 4 Wheelies out of 5, and high recommendation to see it if you haven't, and to rewatch it if you haven't seen it in a while. Um, Next, Mikey goes to the movies. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. Um, but there's gonna be one coming, so um, keep on the lookout. I'll kind of send some shout outs about that, and love you guys. Thanks for watching, and thanks for supporting what I love to do. So, with that, I'm going to say peace, and we're out of here.